Well, howdy y'all, how you doing? It's me, Holy Smoking Pipe Padre. That's right, the one, the only. Smoking a Fern Down and using my wonderful new Herminator tamper. And what am I smoking in this? Kingfisher. It's a good little tobacco. And I wish I could find more of it. So, Sean, if you're looking out there at the Briar Patch, or Woody, if you're at Loman Center and you're watching this, see if you can find me some more Kingfisher. And some more Stonehaven, by the way, if you're watching. If not, I'll come into the store and harass you. I haven't been there for a while. I haven't forgotten about all you guys. Still love you. And one of my goals is, and I've shared this with you in a couple of videos previously, is I have a lot of open tins, and I think I've got all of them now on my desk, and I need to go through this. This poor little thing used to be nice and like figs, nice and figgy with its consistency. It's dry as a bone. Sad to say, I don't know how it happened, but it just did. Some tins do a good job keeping it fairly moist, or at least its original state, and some just, well, they just don't. They break the seal, and that's the end of it. However, I will say, to my surprise, that the Kingfisher is not burning hot or harsh. And it is still very flavorful. Very sweet, very rich smoke. So my goal is to finish up all of my open tins before I open another one, and I've been pretty good about that. I have so many to select from. I won't be in need of opening any new tins, so that's what I'm doing. Well, it's a beautiful windy day here on Saturday. In a little while, I'm going to have a big afternoon ahead of me. So I'm taking a little bit of a break now because once it starts, it's going to be nonstop. In the background, you're listening, if you can hear it at all. I found out YouTube. I know if I actually deliberately include a soundtrack, you know, I export it in, you know, or import it in, I should say, to my audio track, you know, there's going to be a copyright infringement or whatever. But I'm listening to this like I'm listening to a radio in the background, and somebody there at YouTube will listen to this, I guess, and they'll gig me on that. And it's like, that's not fair, guys. I'm not trying to copyright anything. I'm just having background music. I've got to be honest, that really chaps my hide there, Pilgrim. And speaking of pilgrims and people chapping my hide, got a little friendly feud going on there with old Making Change, old Mark, old Pipe Pops Jr. And he's thrown down the gauntlet for a friendly feud, so stay tuned, Pilgrim. I'm working on it. Draw. That's all I'm going to say for right now. You deranged brother, you. Looks like Robert Duvall. I love those deep-set eyes, you know. Me, Tommy Lee Jones, Robert Duvall. I think we could make it work, or Mark. Anyway, I'm listening in the background. Some music that to me is just, well, profound. It's a composer I've always loved. And when I listen to this composer, I think I'm listening to the sounds of honesty, truth, goodness. And it's Aaron Copland's Tender Land Suite. This is the first movement from the Tender Land Suite. Just beautiful, powerful music. And the reason why I love that music is because if you listen to it, there is melancholy there, but there's so much hope underneath it. You know, there's a little bit of brokenness there, you know, and sadness, regret, but yet underneath it all, this hope kind of springs up, you know, like, you know, it's gonna be a good day after all. And so that's the way I feel when I listen to Aaron Copland. It's like I'm listening to pure truth. Now, why am I going the long way around the barn with this message? As most of you know, I don't try to be a preacher man and in a formal sense on here. But I do have some reflections that I thought might be worth sharing. Those of you who are interested in religion, some of you who are believers, some of you are Christians, some of you who are, whether you're Catholics or Lutherans or Reformed or Charismatics or fundamentalists or Baptists or whatever you are, you know. But one of the things that I started thinking about as I was listening to this music here and kind of going through some personal things that have been a little bit troubling for me was, you know, Christianity. Somebody gave me a really nice compliment about, you know, it's kind of nice to see a priest being just a real person, and with all the scandal that's going on with the Padres and the church, it's kind of hard to be a priest, let me tell you. Now that's not me going, wah, you know, but the reality is that unfortunately there's been some really ugly stuff going on by a few people who have, you know, brought discredit on the whole lot of us. A lot of brokenness, a lot of shame, a lot of ugliness. But as I was thinking about this morning, and this is what I want to share. Those of you, you know, who kind of wonder about Christianity, or those of you who consider yourselves Christians, this is my question, who do you experience Christianity with? Now that's probably a interesting way of phrasing it, isn't it? I'm not asking you where do you go to church, where do you worship, what congregation you belong to, but who do you experience true Christianity with? Because I had to ask myself that. Obviously, I'm a priest, I'm a associate pastor, I'm a parochial vicar. That's our actual term for the second-hand man is usually known as the parochial vicar. So I'm the vicar. When I was in Bosnia, a friend of mine from England who was over there, he said after he watched all the hot sauce I would put on my eggs in the morning, he goes, "You're mad. You're absolutely mad. I'm going to call you the Mad Vicar." So I'm the Mad Vicar. There could be a new YouTube channel for me, by the way. But anyway, I started thinking about who have I really experienced Christianity with? And again, it's not, you know, going to a prayer meeting. It's not going to a Bible study. Now, I'm not saying those are wrong and bad. Of course, those are fundamentals of the faith. But when I talk about experiencing, you know, the true message of Christianity with other people, well, who has that been in my life? Well, I'm happy to say there are several people that I can readily say, yes, I have experienced true Christianity with that individual. But now I'm hearing some of you out there going, well, what do you consider true Christianity? Good question. Excellent question, by the way. And the parochial vicar, the Mad Vicar, will try to give you an answer from his own personal, humble opinion, by the way. This is my own humble opinion. In my humble opinion. You see, unfortunately, a lot of us, we don't quite see it the way I think it should be seen. Real Christianity, simply stated, is about forgiveness, healing, and reconciliation, all predicated on the love of Jesus. That's it. Because what I find the problem, and I've said this before, the problem with Christianity sometimes is are Christians. And I have to tell you from my own experiences, both recent and in my past, when Christians begin to see, sad to say, the ugly side of humanity, even within their Christian brothers and sisters, they can become offended, resentful, and, do I dare say, unforgiving. And that's where it all breaks down. And the problem is just that. Once a person gets offended or hurt, you know, then all of a sudden they're it's almost like this. If you look at it, we say the Felix culpa, the favorite, not favorite, my favorite fault, my most grievous fault. The Felix culpa, the joyful fault. In other words, because of the fault, because of the brokenness, now we have an opportunity to experience genuine healing, forgiveness, and reconciliation. That's the message of Christianity when you stop and think about it. What did Jesus do when he first appeared to the disciples, who actually 3 or 4 days before did what? They betrayed him. One of them stabbed him in the back and sold him for money. Another one denied him 3 times publicly. And the other one just ran away, pusillanimous son of the guns. And so, if that had been you, if that had been me being betrayed by people that say they'd loved us and were going to die with us, don't you think in our own weak human state, we might have had a few choice words or at least some dirty looks to give them? Where were you? How dare you do that to me? And yet, that's not what Jesus did when he first saw them. He was full of, if you can really get there, where he's standing there in the upper room, and he doesn't browbeat them. He doesn't harangue them. He doesn't reproach them. He just offers them peace. That's it. He doesn't say, "Where were you? How dare you let me down?" He never did that. And not only that, what does he do for these cowardly people, these people who betrayed him? Not only does he forgive them, but he exalts them from being timid disciples, cowardly disciples, into mighty apostles. He gives them this kind of beautiful relationship of the kingdom, the new covenant. And so, when I find people who are really going through it in their Christian walk, and it happens to me too, I'm not immune. I have to ask myself, can I forgive somebody? Can they forgive me? Can I ask for forgiveness? Am I willing to truly not just overlook a misdemeanor or a hurt or some wrong that's been done to me, but I'm able to restore, through the grace of God, a relationship? Because that's what he calls us to, is relationships. Not just overlooking, well, I guess I'll forgive you this time. It's not about that. Because if we're holding on to those resentments, those hurt feelings, the woundedness, which we sometimes have a hard time letting go of, we're going to miss something glorious, something wonderful. And so, the choice really is ours, to receive forgiveness for our own misdemeanors and crimes and sins, and then extend that to people who have hurt us, and still, again, reach out and say welcome. Well, that's old Holy Smoking Pipe Padre with a little reflection there. And thank you for listening. Thank you for being so patient, and thank you for humoring me. So until then, light up your world. Light up your pipe. This one's mine. See ya.